Maryland's other death tax is a punishment for not having children. When people talk about the death tax, they're talking about the estate tax, which is a tax on the very wealthy. The Maryland inheritance tax is a tax that only burdens non-wealthy people, and especially people that don't have any children. The Maryland inheritance tax is very subtle in how it discriminates. It's a 10% tax on inheritances, but most inheritances are exempt. Any inheritance left to a spouse, a child, grandchild, charity, or a sibling is exempt. So this is really a tax on leaving an inheritance to someone beyond your nuclear family or your lineal descendants. In other words, this is a tax on people that have a different kind of family than what the legislature thinks of as family. Maryland law prohibits discrimination based on marital status and familial status in employment and housing, but not in death. LGBTQ people are particularly vulnerable to the inheritance tax because they are about half as likely to get married and are substantially less likely to be parents. In the 1900s, almost every single state had an inheritance tax, but today there's only 5 states left, including Maryland. The inheritance tax is riddled with arbitrary distinctions. If you leave an inheritance to your brother or your half-brother, no tax. If you leave the inheritance to your stepbrother or your brother-in-law, taxed. If you named a beneficiary on your life insurance, no tax. If you forgot, taxed. If you have cash in another state, no tax. If you have cash in a bank account in another state, taxed. The Maryland inheritance tax only brings in enough money to cover 0.15% of the Maryland operating budget each year. So the Maryland inheritance tax is arbitrary, discriminatory, and it brings in almost no money. The inheritance tax has been around for 180 years, and it's time we got rid of it.